burp.
We don't know how to start this. We forgot. We were literally talking about, like, how should we start this? And we were like, let's start. And then now we're like, how do we start this?
Yeah. You know what? Let's just go straight to it. But first, welcome to Creepy Conversations. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Kalai. Woo, 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 woo. What was that?
It's not drugs.
It's not drugs.
We should stop saying that because people are going to be like, what the fuck are they on? And what does that even mean? It's an inside joke, you guys.
Inside joke that we shouldn't be doing because it's on a podcast.
But blame the French.
Right. So this episode, well, it won't be that long because, like, we really can't get, like, any other, like, information about it. Or maybe I didn't try to find but whatever. But
like, this is funny because it happened in our country, but we can't find, like, shit about it.
Because everything that I've read on it, like, it's exactly the same. And it usually they're covering, like, the current news. So I can't find anything about what happened, like, about these people. So, yeah. So we just want to cover this case, and we're gonna be covering the injustice and the murder of Jennifer Laude. If you guys haven't heard about her, well, I'll let you know. What the fuck?
They'll learn about it.
Yeah. My sources for this episode are New York Times, Rappler, the podcast called Nothing Rhymes with Murder. I love their name. And the Filipino...
Does nothing really rhyme with murder?
I don't...
I'll think about that. Keep dropping your sources.
And the last one is... Oh, wait, no, not the last source, but the Filipino podcast called Stories After Dark, which you guys should check out. They're actually really good, like, straight to the point podcast, not like ours.
Which is fun. Ours is fun.
Yeah, of course. You can't compare both because we're different from them, but
it's
they're
not
also
drugs.
Good. They're Filipinos or they're good. And there's this documentary called Call Her Ganda, which I only, like, saw clips of it on YouTube. I can't find, like, the full documentary.
Video.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
poor,
weird.
so I didn't.
We're not paying for shit.
The paid one, and of course, our best friend Wikipedia. And also, trigger warning: listener discretion is advised. We should be doing this every beginning of the episode, but yeah, we just started.
Maybe we should, like, pre-record that right after our intro
Right.
music, and then viewer discretion is advised. Blah blah blah.
We're literally planning as the podcast goes.
Love it.
Anyway, so yeah, there's graphic violence, and there are reports that Jennifer is being misgendered, but I did try to, like, correct most of it. But in case I missed some, I'm sorry. Also, I might cry, so please don't judge me. I'm a softie.
We're both softies. We're like hard shells, but we're softies on the inside. Also, burger rhymes with murder.
Did you Google it?
Yes.
Jesus.
I couldn't help myself.
But yeah, Nothing Rhymes with Murder is like it's a fun podcast. I think they're from the UK. I don't know. I'm bad at guessing accents, but that's it. So anyway, Jennifer Laude was assigned male at birth and named as Jeffrey Sardoncillo Laude. She was born in Leyte, November 4, 1987. At a young age, her father died when she was young, so she, along with her two sisters, Michelle and Marilu, were raised by her mom, Julita Cabillan. Julita, or I think it's Julita.
It's Julita, probably.
It's weird to say Julita. So I think it's Julita Cabillan and her mom's partner at a young age, but they don't really like mention her mom's partner. It's mostly just her mom. At a young age, she already knew that she was a girl by heart and would often call herself beautiful. And her mom and her family, they were pretty much accepting of like who she is. And her mom even gave her the nickname Ganda, which is for those of you who aren't from the Philippines, it's the Filipino word for beautiful. Her mother and sisters, like I mentioned earlier, they were very accepting of what she identified with, and her mother even said that it didn't matter to her whether she was gay or trans as long as she was a good and responsible person, which like a lot of like parents aren't really accepting. So she was very lucky to have parents or like a mom who was like supportive of who she was. And anyone who's listening right now, y'all should be supportive of whoever wants to be, they want to, what? Whoever they want to be.
True.
So.
Oh, but then what I notice, especially in our culture, it's the mom that's more accepting about these things.
I
know my mom is.
Yeah. I think it's like easier to understand because they came from you.
Most likely. We'll figure it out.
If you're a mom, let us know. So, yeah, like her mom said, as long as she was a good and responsible person, which she was, she had in school, like she had like really good grades and she was good in school. And eventually when she started working, she got out of their small town and started working at what the fuck? I just lost. There it is. She started working at a salon, and she was known to be very hardworking. Like she would stay late and like do overtime by like taking the initiative to clean all of the equipments so she could earn extra money or get free food so that she won't have to spend her money, so she can save and like be able to provide to her mother and sister. And she was known to be good with money also. Like she saved most of her income, and with that money that she sent it to her mother, Julita, and her mother was able to fix their house. And Julita recalled that whenever they talked on the phone, she would say that she's working hard not just to be able to send money to her mom, but also to gain the respect of people so that she could finally so that when she comes home eventually, people would like finally stop calling her names and like maybe see her as someone who had accomplished something and someone whose life had value. So that's what she always said to her mom.
Where was she working? Like, did she move out?
Yeah, she moved out. I didn't say that. Jesus. But yeah, she moved out, like, eventually when, like, after she went to school, she moved out and, like, started working so she could help her family. Which, like, the fact that she said that she was, like, working hard so that people will see her as someone who had value, like, that breaks my heart. Because, like, the gay and trans people, like, they suffer a lot here in the Philippines. Like, not just with bullying, but, like, with rape and like domestic violence as well.
Everything.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't necessarily have to try harder, but they have the need to try harder because they want to prove something, which is so sad because no one should ever go through that, you know?
Yes. And like in our country, a lot of like gay and trans people are really hardworking compared to straight people,
and they're smarter too. like I know a lot of gay men who are way smarter than most of us.
Exactly, and majority of like the straights in our country, like a lot of them don't even have work or aren't even trying to look for a job. Even though they're like, capable and healthy as fuck. Right? And like a lot of these straight people have like zero contribution to our country, but they would be the first ones to like throw the stones and judge the gay people and trans people. Anyway, so Jennifer eventually found love, which is like hard for like trans people. That's like a known thing, that it's hard to find love because usually people just either fetishize them or like outright disrespect or like want to hide them from who they really are.
Yeah.
She met Mark Susselbeck. Am I saying that right? Mark Susselbeck.
Why does his last name not sound German? I know her partner was German.
Maybe I'm not saying it right. That's why it doesn't sound German.
Okay.
Let's just say Mark.
Keep at it.
She met him online, and he was, as Gabby said, like a German national, and he fell in love with Jennifer like right away, and then within a week of meeting.
Oh my god.
It wasn't clarified whether it was like the meeting was like in online or in person, but I'm going to assume that it meant in person, because they did, like, they had photos that they were together, and then they got engaged and were planning to get married in Thailand in March 2015. And Mark was working on getting her to get to Germany. And unfortunately that didn't happen because, you know, of what happened. So, according to Jennifer's friends, she was doing sex work to earn money. Her family and her fiance deny it. What is happening to me? It's not drugs, I swear. Her family and fiance deny it, but according to her like closest friends, they say that she was doing sex work to earn more money, and that's okay. Like, you're not less of a person, just because you do sex work, and like
it's a decent job.
It is a decent job, and also like, get it, girl. Like, you're like doing that to get coin. You know what I mean? Also, it might be different now, but before, it's hard to get a job if you're trans. So I can't really blame her if she turns to sex work. Like, even in 2014, there were like jobs already that accepted trans people, but not like, compared now, it was still hard at that time.
People weren't really open to the fact that it's okay.
So she started working in Olongapo City in Zambales in Luzon, which is like the northern part of the Philippines. And Olongapo City is like kind of known as a red light district in that area, because it's near Subic Bay Freeport, which is like the former home of the Subic Bay Naval Base, which was once the largest U.S. Navy base outside the United States. Because if you guys don't know, the Philippines was like colonized by the Americans at one point. So it was there in Olongapo on the evening of October 11, 2014, in a bar called Ambiance, like literally AMBYANZ. Ambiance disco bar. You can tell from the name that you're gonna have fun. It's gonna get lit.
The name is so extra, Ambiance.
Right? And so that's where she met the 19-year-old murderer, Joseph Scott Pemberton. So Pemberton, who was a United States Marine from New Bedford, Massachusetts, he was in the Philippines to take part in regular military exercises, and his ship was docked at the Subic Bay Freeport. That night, Jennifer was with her friend Barbie, who was also a transgender woman who eventually became a witness. Barbie said that night they were having a fun time and they were having drinks, and according to witnesses, like not just Barbie but the other witnesses that were in the bar in Ambiance, they said that Pemberton, who was also drinking with his friends, approached Jennifer and Barbie's table. Like, he approached them alone without his friends and started talking to Jennifer. And eventually, like, they started talking, and soon, like, Barbie also found a companion, and then the four of them, like, they decided to leave and went to the, I don't know if it's pronounced as Calzone or Celzone Lodge.
It's probably Calzone. Why does it sound like food?
It's Celzone. That's Celzone, right?
Let's pretend that's how. Yeah, moving on.
Yes. So it's a nearby, like, a love hotel or motel. Barbie even accompanied them into their room before leaving the two of them to go to her companion. And then 30 minutes after checking in, Pemberton left the motel, leaving the door of the room ajar. The staff who was cleaning was wondering why the door of the room was open, went in to investigate, and found Jennifer's partially naked body, which was partially covered with a blanket from the waist down, and her neck was blackened with strangulation marks, and her head was in a toilet bowl. And so the staff, like, called the police, and they started talking to witnesses, and they found out that they couldn't find Barbie at that time because Barbie didn't know what was happening. Mm-hmm. So they just asked the witnesses around, and they said, oh, she was with, like, a white foreigner. That's what they said. Eventually, they found out that it was Pemberton, and they started the investigation. And there were condoms recovered from the bathroom that were then subjected to DNA testing to determine if the semen it contained matched that of Pemberton. Forensic experts from the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Laboratory determined that one of the 3 condoms and a condom wrapper recovered from the motel room had Pemberton's fingerprints. The DNA within the condoms didn't match Jennifer Laude's DNA, but it did match Pemberton. At that time, when Pemberton was caught, he said that they only had, like, oral sex, and he found out that Jennifer was born male. So that's what happened, and he said that he was, like, defending himself.
I'm confused. If he says it's just oral sex, why would you wear a... Anyway,
let me continue. You'll be more confused. So they also found there was DNA that was found on Pemberton's genitals, which was his DNA, of course, and it was also found on Jennifer's genitals as well, even though he said that they only had oral sex, which is, like, you know, another macho dude thing, which is like, I'm straight, I never had sex, it was just oral sex. But the evidence says otherwise. But yeah, the cause of death was reported as asphyxiation by drowning. Pemberton was reported to have later admitted that he did eventually admit that he murdered Jennifer after, like I mentioned earlier, he found out that she was transgender and was assigned male, which is not a reason to kill anybody. If you were shocked or, like, let's say angry that this person didn't disclose what they were, you could just leave, you know, or, like, if that person tried to attack you, which I doubt, you can just, you're military, dude, you can just punch them. I'm pretty sure your punch will knock them out.
It's such a macho thing, honestly, because if you look at it this way, if he never found out that she was trans, he would have just left her alone. So it was more for himself because he couldn't accept the fact that, oh, I'm probably... Because you know how, like straight... somebody. Yeah, like, you know how straight macho men are when it comes to these things? They feel like, oh, I'm probably gay now because I had sex with a woman that was male before, or like they start questioning things and they don't feel good about that.
Right? Like, why do you need to kill someone, dude? You could have just left or like called. Like, I don't know. There are so many things that you could have done except for killing someone. Like, I don't get it. Anyway, also, like, I don't believe the fact that Jennifer didn't disclose to him that she was transgender because, I doubt it, because according to Jennifer's fiance, Jennifer told him almost immediately that she was trans and that he was okay with that and that he loved her for who she was, because according to him, Jennifer was smart and funny and hardworking. Like, it didn't matter to him what her gender was or what she was. So I doubt it. Like, and plus the fact that he kept on saying that they were drunk. What if, like, Jennifer told him that, you know, actually disclosed the fact that she was assigned male at birth.
Yeah.
And he couldn't remember it because he was drunk. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway. And even if she didn't tell you, it's still not a reason to kill someone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm looking at photos right now because I'm pissed off.
So following the death of Jennifer, Pemberton was detained by the U.S. Navy, first on board his ship and then inside Camp Aguinaldo, which is the headquarters of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, which is located in Quezon City in Metro Manila. On December 15, 2014, the Olongapo City Prosecutor's Office of the Philippine Department of Justice charged Pemberton with murder in front of the Olongapo City Regional Trial Court Branch 74. So they initially charged him with murder, but they will change it eventually, because in the Philippines, murder is like the heaviest
offense, or like
offense. Yeah, like you could charge when it comes to killing somebody, and then like homicide is like manslaughter to us.
I vaguely remember.
Please let me know.
I actually vaguely remember this because I think it was very much in the news back in 2015, right? Or 2014. 2014. And I remember a lot of people commenting saying like, oh, she deserves that because she cheated on her fiance, or like, I would do the same if I found out I had sex with a man, or...
Which is insane.
It's sad that those are the things that I remember.
Right. Also, like, you don't know, what if they had an open relationship and, like, her fiance was okay with, you know...
Yeah.
Y'all weren't in the relationship. Why do you need to decide for them? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Anyway... So, the prosecutor decided to pursue murder charges because of the presence of treachery, cruelty, and abuse of superior strength, because he did, like, strangle her, and he did, like, put her head in a toilet bowl. So there's, like, different things that... Also, strangling someone, it takes about 12 minutes before they die. 8 to 12 minutes. That's a lot of time for you to decide to stop. You could be like, I'm killing somebody, and let them go, and then call for help or whatever. But, like, he decided to go through with that thing.
It was such overkill, because after that, or whenever he did it, he put the head in the toilet bowl. Like, what
That's
the fuck?
a person, dude. Like, could it be that he didn't do it, he didn't kill her because he found out that she was trans, but they were... You know how it is when there are, like, people who have that toilet fetish? Like, what if he did that and, like, accidentally killed her?
But where is the strangulation from? While they're doing it?
Yeah, like, while... I don't know. There's so many things that... Anyway, let me proceed. I'll stop with my theories.
No, we can dissect this afterwards.
After, yeah. Not during. But yeah, Pemberton appealed the prosecutor's decision to the Secretary of Justice, but that appeal was denied. On February 23rd, 2015, Pemberton was brought to court in Olongapo, and the court entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. So he said he didn't kill her. He wasn't guilty of killing her. And the pre-trial hearings began February 27, 2015. The murder trial began on March 16 because under the Philippines United States Visiting Forces Agreement, or the VFA, which is like a thing that we have with the US with like the military men that they have, local courts have to have 1 year to complete any legal proceeding. So like if anyone from the Philippines wants to sue someone who's like member of the military, they have to like go through a year. I don't know why that is. If you guys are lawyers, let me know, please. So yeah, Pemberton was represented by Rowena Flores, and the trial was heard by Judge Rolina Guinness Habalde. Reporters were banned from the courtroom, and relied upon secondhand reports from Jennifer's family's lawyers for their news articles. I think that's part of the VFA, like the Visiting Forces Agreement. Whenever someone is like in court, like the media isn't allowed inside.
Why do I feel like this is protecting the US people? Like it just feels like it's one-sided and it's leaning towards them, which is funny because this whole proceeding happened in our country, plus the victim is a Filipino.
Exactly. Yeah. Jennifer's relatives said that they've been offered 21 Philippine pesos, which is $468 US.
Sorry, 21,000?
21 million, the fuck? 21 million pesos.
I'm like, what?
21 million Philippine pesos, and which is like $4,068 US. So they were offered that if they agreed to lower the charge from murder to homicide. And Julita, Jennifer's mother, said that they rejected the offer since according to her, no amount of money could pay for the years I spent raising my child. And one of
I love
you can
her mom.
you can obviously tell that she loved Jennifer and that she was a great child. And this is the thing why I really wanted to cover it, because people forget that she's human, that there were people that love her. Like whenever they comment on the fact that, oh, she cheated, or oh, she deserves it because she didn't tell that she was trans. Like, guys, what if that happens to someone you love? Like, hold up. What is wrong with you?
I have so many I'm feeling so much emotion right now from all those comments. Because like you guys don't even know her. Are. Yeah, exactly. Right. And what if it was you? Not to say, obviously they can't empathize if I say like, what if you were trans? Because obviously they would just shut off and, But what if it was because you were Filipino and people were just like, yeah, I need to kill you now because you're Filipino. It's the same concept.
I don't like Filipinos, right?
Exactly. Right. Okay, I got that off my chest.
So one of Pemberton's lawyers, Benjamin Tolusa, insisted that Pemberton's legal team hadn't offered any money, saying it had been insinuated that the demand came from us, and that's absolutely false. It's contrary to what happened. Lawyers from the Laude family, or Jennifer's family, claimed that prosecutor Emil Fe de los Santos had taken a statement by Laude's mother that she would not drop the case even if offered $1 million as a sign that the family was open to a plea bargain, insisting the prosecutor had prompted the idea with defense attorney. So they said that, let me just explain that. Like, they said that they really didn't offer money. It was just like because the prosecutor said that she wouldn't drop the case even if she was offered money.
Mm-mm.
So one of Laude's family attorneys at that time, Harry Roque, who is now the presidential spokesperson of President Duterte. At the time, he was one of the family's attorneys. He told the press that he had been barred by Prosecutor De Los Santos from the trial, so he had been removed from... I don't know if he was removed, but he wasn't allowed in the trial anymore. Laude's family submitted a letter to the Department of Justice Secretary Leila de Lima at that time, requesting that a new prosecutor be assigned, citing the refusal of De Los Santos to work with the family's private lawyers. And yeah, the prosecution rested on January 30, 2015. Pemberton admitted in court to fighting with Laude but not killing her. He claimed that he left her alive and that he acted in self-defense after he discovered that Laude was transgender, which is like, really, dude?
What is the need for self-defense in that?
Right? Also, I know so many trans women, and sure, let's say, Jennifer was taking estrogen pills, which a lot of trans women do.
Mm-mm.
The trans women that I personally know, they're weaker because of the pills. Like, they can't, there's this thought that transgender, because they were assigned male at birth, that they still have the strength of a male. No, they fucking don't. They can't even open bottles anymore. Like,
they're literally women now.
Yeah, they are women, so that's why they're not, like, the thing in your head, that's not true. Anyway, also, like, why are you gonna lie like that, Mr. Pemberton? Like, you're a trained military person.
He's fucking scared.
Right? Even if she fought back, you could have subdued her without killing her. You're literally trained for that. You could subdue her without leaving her head inside a toilet bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
everything was just so unnecessary.
Right? Like, I'm pretty sure you left her to die, and you knew that, and you knew what you were doing, because if you accidentally killed her, you would have called for help, but you ran because you're a fucking coward, you piece of shit. I'm sorry, I'm so angry.
Just like, mad!
Like, because he has the audacity to, like, lie. Anyway, so on December 1, 2015, the Olongapo Regional Trial Court found Pemberton guilty of homicide, not murder. Homicide, like I mentioned earlier, it's like manslaughter, so it's like the lesser charge, citing mitigating circumstances, including Jennifer not revealing her gender identity, and sentenced him to 6 to 12 years in jail instead. Which is not a reason to give someone a lighter sentence. He murdered someone, and he ran, and he hid after murdering her. Why does he get a lighter sentence? I don't get it.
Ugh, it gets worse, right? Like with the recent...
It's worse!
Woo! I'll wait for you to get there, because I'm pissed.
I'm almost there. So the court said the killing of Laude amounted only to homicide and does not meet the standards of murder. What the fuck do you call that? That is fucking murder. Pemberton, in the court's view, acted out of passion and obfuscation. Am I saying it right? Obfuscation? Obfuscation.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Bro, obviously we're not experts. So yeah, that's the reason why the court ruled Pemberton that in the heat of passion, he arm-locked the deceased and dunked her head in the toilet. Which is bullshit. It is fucking bullshit. Harry Roque, which is like now the presidential spokesperson, but at that time he was the family's attorney at the time. He disagreed with what the court said, saying that it is not right that these mitigating circumstances let me say that again. It it isn't right that these mitigating circumstances showed his bigotry towards a transgender woman, and that the bigotry itself was the reason he killed her, which I agree. He was. And Jennifer's mother, Julita, also was not happy, saying that she believed Pemberton was guilty of murder. Yeah. Still, she added, but the important thing is he will be jailed and my daughter's life is not wasted. Which, like, I just want to hug her because, like, I know
she was
how
such
much
a great mom.
Right? You don't deserve this. And you don't deserve the fact that there are these assholes out there saying that your daughter deserved it.
I really hate that.
Right? There's a mom that loved that person. Like, why the fuck would you say that? Whew. So, Pemberton remained at Camp Aguinaldo under the Bureau of Corrections control until the appeals were heard. Pemberton was ordered to pay fines to the Laude family totaling over 4.5 million pesos, which is like, thank God. He was also ordered to pay 50,000 pesos for civil indemnities. To all the lawyers out there, please correct me. And he was also ordered to pay So it was 4.5 million in total. 50,000 pesos for civil indemnities and 4.3 pesos for loss of earning capacity and 155 million.
Okay. Why do you keep missing the word million?
It's not drugs. So, and 155,250 pesos for funeral and burial expenses, and 50,000 pesos for moral damages, and 30,000 pesos for exemplary damages. I swear to God, I can read. I don't know what is wrong with me. In a ruling issued by the Olongapo RTC Branch 74 on March 30, 2016, the court affirmed the conviction of Pemberton while reducing the maximum sentence to 10 years from the original 12 years and also denying him bail. If that's bad news, let me tell you the next shit that 2020 offered us. On September 2, 2020, Branch 74 of the Olongapo City Regional Trial Court granted Pemberton's partial motion of reconsideration, thereby releasing him from prison. Judge Rolene Guinness Abalde said that Pemberton, then confined at the Armed Forces of the Philippines Custodial Center in Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City, had already served a jail sentence of 10 years, 1 month, and 10 days on account of his accumulated good conduct time allowance, or GCTA. The Laude camp opposed the decision, saying Pemberton, who lives comfortably, only his liberation is restricted, cannot reasonably and justify claim good conduct. Which is like, yes. Let me just explain this to you guys. He literally had his own cell. He wasn't, I wouldn't say that he was in isolation, but he wasn't mixed with like the other criminals. He literally had a better cell where he could like watch TV, read books. Yeah, he was basically treated better than like the other prisoners here because he was in the AFP custodial center in Camp Aguinaldo. He wasn't in Bilibid prison.
They should have put him there.
Prison in the whole world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he had like his own whatever because, you know, he's a foreigner and I don't know shit. I just like how did you decide that he had like he was good in prison? Like how is that okay with being good in prison with the fact that he literally played God and took someone's life? I thought we were a religious country. Why aren't we okay with this?
Because we have a thing for white people, and to be honest, it's shit.
Exactly. And also, like what I mentioned earlier, misplaced morals. Literally. And on September 7, 2020, President Rodrigo Duterte granted an absolute pardon to Pemberton. Y'all heard that right. He had presidential pardon, which was justified by now the presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, who was once the legal counsel for the Laude family. Prior to this, Duterte himself promised to the Laude family that he will not release Pemberton during his presidency, which is a lie. The pardon, which was condemned by the Laude family and even like from other senators, like literally, if you guys are from the Philippines, everyone was angry at this shit because this is injustice.
For
Why
sure.
Are you releasing somebody who murdered your people? The fuck? The pardon who was condemned... Oh, sorry, I already said that. The absolute pardon given by Duterte has been called a grave injustice to the Filipino people, which I agree, a travesty of Philippine sovereignty. I'm not stupid, I swear. I can read. I've been awake since 4 a.m.
I love how you kind of just like whispered that as if they wouldn't hear you.
I won't hear it. So that word, a travesty of Philippine sovereignty and democracy. I'm like a child asking my teacher this, right?
I was like, yeah.
And a mockery of the judiciary and legal system. And the last one, he was also called a shameless sellout, which I'm sorry, it is true because you're releasing him for a vaccine that doesn't even exist yet.
And it's not a guarantee. Like, right? He could have just, like, freed him, and then Trump could be like, you know what? I don't even want to share my vaccine with you guys, so fuck you.
Trump literally doesn't even believe in COVID. Look at what's happening to America now.
but like,
so why would he share it with us?
This isn't even a guarantee for anything. Right? I just don't understand. It wasn't even necessary. Like, why did he suddenly decide? Like, what made him think, like, you know what? I think maybe I should free this guy for a chance at a vaccine that's not there yet.
If I haven't, like, mentioned it, I think I have mentioned it. If I haven't mentioned it, the main reason why he gave the presidential pardon to Pemberton is because he believes that giving a pardon to this dude will, like, the U.S. will prioritize the Philippines when a vaccine comes, which I doubt it happens.
America probably forgot about this guy in jail already.
Right? I believe that's true. I believe that's true. Like, they don't even give a shit. He's not even a taxpayer. Americans don't care about you if you're not a taxpayer. Exactly. I'm just kidding. I know they love their soldiers. I'm just kidding.
Seriously, like, how important could you be that the president or like whoever runs the country would be like, you know, like, what?
Oh God, thank you for releasing him.
Here's a vaccine. It's so fucking stupid.
Exactly. Also, why do we still need to kiss the ass of our colonizers or former colonizers? Like, isn't the service of like our healthcare workers in the U.S. enough payment? Like, we have so many Filipino health workers that are working in the U.S.
Exactly.
That have died because of COVID. Why do we need to release a murderer to appease them? I don't get it.
I'm so confused.
So yeah, the pardon has been analyzed as an act that places the interest of the U.S. government above the Filipino people's demands for justice and accountability, which again, I agree. It's again putting the U.S. first before us. And the lawyer of Pemberton later claimed that her client always wanted to apologize to Laude's family, and the claims were afterwards debunked by the lawyers of Jennifer's family, who stated that since 2014, Pemberton never initiated any form of apology. So he never felt remorse for this shit, because if he did, he would fucking apologize. Like, so why does he get the good conduct whatever bullshit when he hasn't even apologized yet? Pemberton's lawyer has stated that her client's reaction to the pardon was very happy. I mean, fucking obviously, you don't need to say that. And that she advised Pemberton to apologize through a letter instead of speaking personally with the Laude family. On September 13, 2020, remember I mentioned that Duterte said that he's gonna keep Pemberton until he's the president? And I said that's bullshit. Because on September 13, 2020, Pemberton was deported to the United States after he allegedly apologized to the victim's family, which he didn't, and thanked Duterte for the pardon. And guess what? He's expected to enroll in a college in the United States, which fucking infuriates me because he gets to live his life after killing somebody. That's not right.
I am speechless. Like,
the injustice.
Yeah. The injustice to her family, to Jennifer, to the Filipinos, and to all transgenders out there. Like, what the fuck?
He can live his life. Anyway, the Laude family spoke through their lawyer, Virgie Suarez. They said, and they're like, they really don't deserve this shit. They said, may he find peace of mind, hoping he has learned from all these the value of life and dignity regardless of gender and nationality. Jennifer's fiance is now a trans advocate and activist. He's like traveling from what I know. And he's currently seeing a therapist after his heartbreak over the loss of Jennifer. Like, he literally lost everything. He lost his job because he was so active about it, and he was all over the news, and he didn't fucking care because his company talked to him about it, and he was like, I don't care. I just want justice for Jennifer. So they fired him because they didn't like the fact that he was always in the news. So yeah, he kind of lost everything. And he got barred from entering the country because he scaled the gates of the headquarters of AFP to get to Pemberton. But he apologized for it, and he said that he wanted to come back here on March 2015 to visit Jennifer's grave on the day of what was supposed to be their wedding day.
Oh
he was
God,
quoted, right? He, like, no one deserves whatever happened to Jennifer. Like, Jennifer doesn't deserve it, her family doesn't deserve it, her fiance doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
He was quoted saying, whatever happened on that night, only Pemberton and her know the story. But he had total love and trust for Jennifer. In the documentary Call Her Ganda, transgender Filipino activist Naomi Fontanos, who also appeared in the documentary, told news outlets that she remembered the moment that she saw the news story beginning to spread on social media, and that when she realized that the victim was in fact a trans woman, her heart sank with recognition. She said, being part of the trans movement in the Philippines, we very well know that our lives are replete with discrimination and violence. Every November, there is this thing trans communities around the world do. It's called Transgender Day of Remembrance. It's a day that's set to honor all the trans people in the world who had been killed by transphobic violence. I always end up crying because another Filipino is going to be on that place. That list keeps on getting longer every year. So many trans people, there are too many trans people that are murdered every year. It really is like a global genocide. It's the murder of a specific population that's happening on an unprecedented rate. It is really crazy in the US particularly. So many Black trans women are killed and they're dying every day. You need to read their names. You need to remember their stories. So we need to get involved in this. We have to tell the story. The story must be told. Fontanas believe that Jennifer's death illuminates the shared experience of many impoverished, marginalized, and desperate trans women. Fontana said about Jennifer, she was loved, she was adored, and she was admired by her friends. She was a go-getter, and she was it, just sitting around, and she didn't, just sit around and be miserable. She was making things happen for her life. She was working hard and saving money and sending money to her family. It really is a story that a lot of trans people in the Philippines, because in the Philippines, if you are trans, it's like they need to compensate for being trans. You need to prove to your family that you're a good person. That you can be a responsible adult, and that's what a lot of trans people do. They work very hard. They work their asses off so that they can make enough money to keep their families happy. And Jennifer was exactly that. She actually had dreams. And in the Philippines, a lot of people are poor, so that cuts across many centers. But in this particular case, when you're poor and trans, that is like multiple burdens already. You don't have education. You don't have access to basic services to work. Those are just barriers that she was facing in life. And if you look back at the history of a life, it was like she was overcoming those barriers every time. And every time a challenge was placed in front of her, she would overcome it. But this time around, she died. And that was what Naomi Fontas said in the documentary. And that's the murder of Jennifer Laude.
I have a feeling that she was a great person. Like, not because that's what people say, but you can tell by how passionate the people around her were for her. Like, how loved she was. You don't get that kind of people around you if you're not someone who deserves it.
Exactly. And her friends, a lot of her friends spoke great things about her, that she was confident and she loved who she was. Mm-hmm. And that's like a great thing, because a lot of people don't really like the way they are, but she did.
She embraced it. Yeah.
She embraced who she was. So yeah, it's just really sad. And like, it just makes you ask yourself, like, how have we like allowed ourselves to be okay with this culture where murder and violence is okay? Like, I find it crazy how our country, we want drug addicts and criminals to be murdered because they're like the worst of humanity. Yet when an innocent person is killed, we as a society, fully sober and God-fearing, like, we're okay when an innocent person dies because they're different than us, or because they took a different path that's not right in our eyes.
It's stupid. Like, they make it seem as though it's a shortcoming for not being the same as everyone else. But like,
exactly. And
who gets to say this is normal and this is not? We're all different.
Exactly. Also, like, being okay with an innocent person dying, it isn't different with that's someone who actually committed the murder. Like, you guys have the exact same thoughts. Your intention is the same. Like, you guys would even go as far to say, like, if I was in his place and I thought that it was a woman and it was actually a man, I would get mad too. Like, who are you to say that? Get mad, but don't kill somebody. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no need for violence at all.
For sure. I understand that sometimes you feel cheated because it's not what you thought it was, but that does not give you the right to be like, oh, I'm gonna kill you because that's not what I thought. Like, this isn't what I want, so I'm just gonna kill you. It doesn't work that way.
Also, like, a lot of you men pretend that your dicks are big, but they're actually small. And these women that you sleep with don't kill you, and yet you're lying to them. It's exactly the same thing. Like, it pisses me off how y'all are so confident to say, like, oh, she got what she deserved. Like, no, she didn't. She was loved. She was a great person. Y'all just don't agree with who she is.
Can you imagine if that's what we did, though? Like, we thought you were really good, but then you fall short.
You're a lousy boyfriend.
I wonder how many men would have been dead because of that.
Right?
Like, trust me.
A lot.
Y'all don't got game. A lot of you don't got game.
Right?
So let's
you
not even
no
go
right.
there. Yeah, for
exactly.
sure.
Also, there are a lot of women that say, oh, she karma because she cheated on her boyfriend. Like, you don't get to say that because you're not the one in the relationship. Her fiance literally still loves her. Like, he's like, whatever happened, I don't care. I trust her. I still love her. Why do you think you have the right to say that she deserved what she got because she cheated when you don't even know what happened? Like, you're not even part of their relationship. You don't even know if they're okay with each other being that way. You know what I mean?
Also, since when was it okay to be like cheating? Murder is okay when it's
because
with a cheater. Yeah. Like,
right?
Who said that was fine? When did we establish this?
Exactly. And y'all are the first one to say, oh, you're a bad person because you are okay with abortion, but yet you're okay with a fully developed person getting murdered. Like, I don't get your priorities.
It doesn't make sense. Like, so many questions here, and like,
you're pro-life, but yet you're pro-murder. Like, the fuck? Since when did God say it's okay to murder? God is like, if he's real, he's probably like, what the fuck are these people doing? Only I'm allowed to murder. Y'all can't do shit that I can't. You're playing God. You're deciding for me. Jod. You're playing Jod. You're deciding for Jod.
Yeah, we should post this in our IG so people get why we say Jod now. Like, let's look for the meme again.
Right. There's this meme on Twitter. I know we were just ranting, but like, to lighten things up, there's this meme on Twitter where someone tweeted, "What if God came back and said it's pronounced as Jod and then just left?"
So now we're calling him Jod, just in case it's really pronounced that way. You know,
as Jod. Jod's like, y'all are playing Jod.
I can't take it seriously. It's like, hey, Jod.
Anyway, that's it. I want you guys to think about it. When were we okay with murder? When did you start being okay with that?
And also, I want lawyers to kind of
correct us.
Stuff. Yeah. It's like,
yell at us, please.
Help us make sense of all of this. And also, I want to know what our creepers think about the murderer being released and the reasoning behind it, because it just doesn't fucking make sense to me. And if you guys think you have a reason why, like a good reason why, let us know. Tweet us, or comment on our Facebook, like, follow our socials. That's Creepy Convos on Facebook and Twitter, and Creepy Conversations on IG.
Yeah. Also, if you have like stories that you want us to cover, please reach out to us, and you can email it to us at creepyconvos@gmail.com.
Or you can subscribe, rate, and review on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever you listen to podcasts to. And if you want to see videos and...
Oh, yeah. That too.
Oops. If you want to see videos and bonus content, subscribe to us on patreon.com/creepyconvos.
Yeah, we're very intimate on on Patreon if y'all want to get intimate.
If you want to get intimate, just laugh and smile.
Just laugh and smile.
And thanks for creeping, you fucking creeper.
And remember, the government is always watching you. Bye.